Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Okay, so today I watched a film called Fire Island. It premiered on Hulu. If you don't know what that is, it's a 2020 American romantic comedy, LGBTQIA plus film by Andrew On, directed by Andrew On, and written by and starring Joel Kim Booster. I decided to watch this movie because I saw the trailer. I was like, "Oh, this is like a romantic comedy." I like the cinematography of it based on the trailer alone. And one of my peers, one of my friends, homies, is in the movie, and I was like, "Okay, let me watch it and see what's up." Now I haven't consumed much content from Joel Kim Booster, but I think I'm a fan of him. I just like what he does. Every time I see him on IG, the comedy shows, and I believe he has a podcast, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And I just think he is doing that work, and I love it. I love it. So I was like, let me support the family, watch it, see what's up. I watched it with my friend Tai Chen. You may have seen him on my channel before when we used to do K-pop reactions. He actually went to the premiere of it in LA, but he did. I don't know if I should say this. I'll say it. He had to go to the bathroom, so he missed a good chunk of the movie. So he was down to rewatch it with me because he had missed some parts, so he wanted to see what he had missed. So it was all good. It was all great. And today we'll be reviewing the film. Now, if you guys are new, how I normally do this is I go character by character. Basically, it's like a character analysis of each characters, and then I get my overall thoughts on the film at the end. However, this may be a bit shorter, I think, because I'm usually doing these with full series that have at least 8 to 16 episodes. So we spend a lot of time with the characters. So I don't know how much I can talk about a single character since we have, so much time with them. But I'll do my best. Now, before we get started, there are spoilers. So if you haven't seen it, you'll be spoiled. I probably won't say much about the plot, maybe. I don't know. I probably will. So you just spoiler warning. Go watch it first and then come back here and then we can kiki. Also, before we get started, please, I urge you guys to go shop my apparel. I have a brand called Disnudo. The website is called disnudoshop.com. If you go there, we have swimwear, we have streetwear, anything you may need. If you want to help support a black business, please feel free to do so. I would certainly greatly appreciate it. And yeah, let's get right into it. I guess we can get started with I don't want to call them the lower tier characters, but there's our main character, our main cast, and their friends, and then we have the other people who are supporting characters. We're gonna start with the character name Brayden. Now, this character was a piece of work. A piece of work. He's that stereotypical, condescending, bougie white man. Now, I've personally never been to Fire Island or been around that crowd myself, but I've seen on social media and hear stories about people who act similar to him, and I'm like, oh goodness. Now it's very interesting to see. He wasn't entirely antagonistic like some other characters in the movie, but I was like, this guy. Oh my goodness, he was a lot. He was a lot. Forgetting Joe's character's name is Noah. Forgetting that he came to his house 3 different times. I'm like, how you forget? He kept saying like, how are you forgetting? I was just here last night. Like, are you kidding me? And he was very much bougie. And I personally think the actor played the role really effectively. I really was like, oh, and they're meant. Most of these characters are meant to be those type of like condescending microaggression stereotypes, and the actors really, really did a good job because I was like, oh my goodness, yikes. Okay, next we have another character that was pretty much the same type of character. I believe his name is Rice. He is in the movie one of the main leads has a love interest, and he plays the ex, and he comes back maybe a little bit halfway through the film, causes some drama, and he was very unlikable as well. He even you know that saying where like the gay guys date their twin. He did that with our two Asian leads, so it came off very racially insensitive, and I was like, oh my gosh, um, what's going on here? Again, he's supposed to be his very unlikable character, and he was very much that. It was oh my goodness, it was almost. I was like, you know what? Because they had like this like a little side plot with him talking about he had Lyme disease and like his man had to go back with him because he had Lyme disease. I'm like, okay, and bye. You came all the way to Fire Island and you got Lyme disease. Somebody lying. No, somebody lying because ain't no way. I know someone who has Lyme disease and they're not out here partying like that. I mean, you can live with Lyme disease and you can get your life and do your thing as a normal person. However, if you just got it, you're going through it, and he over here acting like he needed help and he really didn't need no help. So, and he had these racist undertones when he talked to people. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. On to the next. Next we have is Cooper. Now, Cooper is cut from the same cloth, birds of a feather of the other two. However, he was more actively antagonistic, and he came off very jovial and nice, but you can tell the heavy condescending tones with the things he said, and how he said it, and the actor to me. No shade to his actor. I'm not trying to be mean to his actor. However, he looked terrifying. He had these blaring blue eyes and this like sinister smile all the time. You could it really gave stereotypical facade of a nice person. But then things he was saying and how he looked at people was very frightening. I was like, oh my gosh, the setting of this Fire Island place, the homes and stuff, it already is giving me slasher film vibes. I'm already scared, and then we got this character over here looking like the killer, if not an accomplice. My goodness. Now his character, he didn't get no comeuppance. I don't think he was trying to like. Well, I guess he didn't get the guy he wanted. That's probably what's the end result of that. But however, I wish someone would like dragged him. I wish someone would dragged him because he was like he wasn't as aggressive as these other two people were, but he still was a piece of work. And like that smile, he tried to like intimidate our main lead and like I'm gonna date him. You need to go somewhere. Like he was doing stuff on the sneak tip on the low, and I was like, oh, these three here are a piece of work. A piece of work. Next we have is I think his name is Dex. He was I guess the person in I guess our love triangle we have in the movie, and oh my god. Now he was presented as a more of a likable, nice guy, but one of our other main characters, Will, which I'll talk about a little bit later, he was like, Dex is on some BS, and he done did this, and he was very vague about it. That's Will's character. I'll get to him in a minute, but he was very vague. But Dex is not the nice guy that we thought he was. He seemed cool and collected and like just a regular Joe, and like I guess we're supposed to like him, and it was. I didn't feel no ways about him. Like I didn't feel suspicious of him, but the way Will was like, I don't know about him. I was like, okay, let me see. You know, come to find out, he is out here, making OF content with people who are barely able to consent to it and posting it and all these things. And we see his true colors by the time that happened with one of the friends. And I'm like, oh, I can see why Will was very wary of. I wish he would have told somebody about this before so we can prevent it from happening. However, you know, I was like, dang, he really was, you know, a piece of work. Like he wasn't like vampire like the other three, but oh my gosh, another unlikable person. Another unlikable person. Okay, so next we have is Charlie. Now Charlie, for me, in the beginning, I guess throughout, I thought he was fine. I was very like, dang, why are these white men all around? Why do they want to date these white men? However, I did like Charlie despite that because I was like, oh my gosh, here we go, here another one, another white man. Here he go. Is he gonna be like a jerk? Is he gonna be rude and condescending? Is he gonna be? And he was the exact opposite actually. He was the exact opposite. I really like Charlie. He seemed very earnest. He seemed very nice. He didn't seem like anywhere near a replica of his friends. I'm not sure why he hangs around them. There must be a reason why, but he didn't seem like them at all. I understand that Noah, our main character, was suspicious of him, but he let it rock for his friends. Say, let it rock. Let me keep an eye out on him and then. But he was cool. Now it was upsetting that he had to play our boy Howie and go back to his ex for what seems like a lie for a reason. But at the end, he came around and was like he did not want to be that kind of person. He didn't want to do this and that, and even though it was a cliche romantic comedy, big gesture to get your love interest back on your side, I didn't mind it. It worked. I mean, it's cliche and it's like it's been done before, but the actor who played him really sold me on that just vulnerable, earnest guy who isn't the jerk that the situation probably presented him as at the end, and I believed it. I believed it. Charlie's a win for me. Now their characters are living way different states from each other, so I don't know how that's gonna work. But for the moment, I'm rocking with it. Y'all go off, King, go off, Charlie. All right, so next we have is Erin. Now Erin is the dead mother of our group of friends. Um, I want to say she's like the voice of reason, but also they keep her young, keep her in the know. She's played by Margaret. She's played by Margaret Cho, which I like. I like Margaret Cho. And I like her character. She wasn't in the film way too much, but she was enough to have a presence, and I felt like she was part of the group, and I liked her character. Not originally, I found out originally this was supposed to be potentially a series long ago, but then it turned into a film. Now I wonder if her character would have been fleshed out because it seemed like she came into some money, and in this movie we found out. Well, that was told us through the movie, but then we found out that she ran out of money, so this is their last time, their last summer on Fire Island, at least at her place. I like her character. If she was nice. Next we have is Max. Max is the character that I relate to the most. He's black, I'm black. So I was already on board. But I also there's a scene where they were all like debating on which drugs they should take before they go to this party, and Max was like, "I'm not taking no drugs," and he's me. Now I believe he ended up taking some at the party anyways, but his initial like, "I'm not gonna do all that, y'all wilding out," is me. That is me. I was like, "Oh my gosh, he's me," and like now I wish, I wish he had a little more of a presence in the film. Now he had his own. He was a supporting character. All the friends were supporting characters, and only two of them have their own like overarching storyline and situation. I kind of wish he did too, but it's fine. I like his character. I like the actor that played him. There's a scene where he was, under the influence of something, and he looked at the mirror and goes, "I'm gorgeous," and I was like, "You better say that in that mirror. You better let them know. You better let them know." I liked his character. Next we have is Keegan. Now he is seemingly the most flamboyant, stylish. He's wearing the speedo and the crop tops and the eye makeup, and he's and he was so fun. He was so fun. I believe he's the only Latinx friend of the group. Um, and I like how he seemed like very stereotypical, like flamboyant, the best friend type of character, but he gave such a life and an energy to it, where it didn't seem like a stock kind of character. You know what I mean? Like he also was a supporting character, of course, but I just felt like he made the world in the friend group like lived it. Like I feel like we knew these kind of people, and we felt their bond, even though they're all very different. They all very different from each other. Some are more similar. He's more similar to, what's the other friend's name? Ooh, I forgot that boy's name. Luke. He's more similar to Luke, and then you see them always linking arms and showing skinship a lot. They're like, you know, two sides of the same coin, and I kind of like that. And we have our main leads, Howie and Noah, who are similar to each other, or kind of like really close to each other. And I like Keegan. I like Keegan. I kind of wish he had like maybe like a grand solo performance. Maybe I feel like he did perform in the movie with other characters, but I kind of wish he had his own like little thing because he seems like such a dancer, such a of I really wish he had a moment. Maybe if this was a series, he probably would have. Who knows? Next we have is Luke. Luke. Okay, I like him less than Keegan. I think of all the friend group members, I like him the least. Now I don't dislike him, but he was a bit. Mm, I don't know. Like I wasn't living like I was for the other characters. There's some reasons I like these other characters and really was getting behind them, despite some of them being little jerks at times. But Luke, you know, I, I think he. I'm not saying he's unlikable or anything wrong with him. He's just I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. I feel indifferent. That's the way I want to say. I feel more indifferent towards him rather than excited like how I was with the other characters. I feel more indifferent. I feel more like okay, he was there. He was. I do feel sad about what happened to him. There's a plot in the movie where he is taken advantage of, and I did not like that. I feel so bad for Luke in that moment. But I'm glad his friends rallied behind his back. I'm glad he was appreciative of that. I'm glad they all came together for him. I love that. I love that. Okay, so next we have is Will. Okay, Will. So Will was definitely. I liked Will. He was very dorky. He was very. It seemed like not. I don't know, stuck up maybe like awkward, socially awkward, and kind of like timid, and kind of like reserved into himself, and kind of just a lot going on with him. He sometimes he couldn't speak, so he'll like run away. He'll get spooked easily. You know, he couldn't communicate properly when he needed to say some things. He wrote homeboy a letter, and it was in cursive, and it was a lot. He was a lot, and you know, his character was seen as they were trying to pay him as like some bad guy, some jerk, because he's rich, and he did hang out with his friend group, which is those other guys who were jerks, who were a piece of work. He was friends with them, which I don't know why. Like, why you hanging out with these folks? Why? 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 But I did like him. The scene I love the most is when he was dancing. He's like doing something that he never does, and he was dancing on the stage. Peppermint was in the movie. Drag queen Peppermint. She was in the movie, and she brought him on stage and to dance. I thought it was the most charming thing ever. He was just those dance moves. He was getting it. He was getting it. I was shook. I was shook, shaking and stirred. And I was like, okay, all right, Will. All right, Will. You're okay in my book. Even though you're kind of awkward and kind of like, I need you to vocalize some things and stop being so like, but it's endearing. And I remember the scene in the movie where him and the main character Noah were like, I guess on a date maybe on the beach, and what they did was read books. I was like, that is so nice. They on the beach together and they're reading books and just chit chatting, kikiing, get to know each other. I like that. Next we have is Howie. Howie is probably my favorite character in the whole film. Along with Max, I relate to this character and how he is. Not much so on the want the romance and that romantic comedy and rom com that type of vibe like he was really preaching on. And he's also maybe slightly. I I know I just watched the movie and I forgot, but he seemed very self deprecating almost, and not in a Debbie Downer way, but like if you bring it up, he'll tell you about his insecurities and tell you about how things are, and like he's really expressing the more negative feelings, and that's me at times. I'm not have no problem letting you know if I'm having a bad day and why I'm having a bad day or having bad feelings. I can relate to that. I was rooting for him because he was very pessimistic about situations, about Charlie, which come to find out he was kind of right, kind of sort of. Um, but I like that he was going along with it. I like that he was really into Charlie and he kept hanging out with him. I was like rooting for him. I was like, oh my gosh, yes, 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 King, King, go out, go off. And I like that he stood up to his best friend, Noah. Noah was doing a lot. Noah was, being overbearing and kind of seemingly projecting. He kind of told him off. Now, I don't think Noah deserved all that, but at the same time, Noah was doing a lot. So let him know. And I really like that he stood up for himself. But I'm glad they had their friendship still intact, though. And I love their little thing they do together. And these actors, Joel and Bowen Yang, they're like besties in real life, and I love their dynamic, the chemistry, and I really felt the best friendship between the two, and I really, really, really love that. Last but not least, we have our main lead, Noah. Okay, so Noah, he was. I liked him. I liked his character, but he was annoying sometimes. He overheard his future love interest Will talking some mess, and he was just butthurt the whole time after that. He was very passive aggressive, almost always. He was very much. I know he seemed like the de facto leader of the group, and he kept it. He was overbearing and very like antagonistic towards those other group of people, which they deserve it. Like I'm not. I don't know. Like they deserve it, but he was letting them get under his skin way too much and being just nasty as they are. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh my God, no, let's not do all that. Yeah, they are racist and all these other type of things, but let's not let them get you shook, shaken, and stirred. Like he was shook, shaken, and stirred the whole time. And I was like, no, you don't need me doing all that. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. And like, I'm glad he stood for his friend Luke after that guy, what's his name, Dex, played him and his friend. I'm glad he stood up to him. I'm glad he did all that. Um, Also, he went up in hand for his bestie. He went and go told Charlie to stop playing these games. You need to go handle this and stop playing. Your little goofy friends, y'all all cut from the same cloth. I know you better than that. I can tell. I thought you were anyways, and then you proved me wrong, but you could prove me right, and he did it. They all got on the boat. They went to go see Howie before he left, and I appreciate that. And I like his character. I can see he was annoying me at times. I'm like, oh my god, could you stop? You're acting very, and I can see why his friend Howie really got him together. He was projecting and he was trying to do the most, and he was just, and even in the movie there's different times he had like inner monologues talking like, well, I'm doing this, well, everyone's fine, so I can, like, he tried to justify his actions and this that, and the third, and his heart was in the right place. It's just his mind was just a little bit too overbearing. But I like his character overall. He's flawed but well-meaning. I like that. All right, so the movie as a whole, let me see. Fire Island. I did enjoy it. I really love the cinematography and sound design. I like lots of the characters. And the characters I don't like, I'd love to not like them, if that makes sense. Like they play the type of characters they were, and I'm glad that there's no redemption, but there was no comeuppance with them. But maybe there's not necessarily need a comeuppance. Karma will get them eventually, I guess. I don't know. I did enjoy the movie. Now I will say it did bother me that the movie, what I thought was three false endings. Like it felt like it was ending here and like, okay, work, but then it kept going. Okay, and then it ended again. Okay, work. No, but then a third time, and I guess it makes sense that it didn't end where those other two times, because spoiler alert, the other two times he didn't end up with Will, so I thought that was the thing. Like he doesn't end up with Will, but him and Will are cool. Maybe a sequel or maybe a follow up to this could be in the works because they didn't resolve that or get that going. But they ended up doing that anyways in the end, and I don't think they became a couple or nothing. But they danced, they kissed, and that was in the movie. Um, I thought it was a fun movie. I wish the setting was different because I couldn't. The scene with the parties and the clubbing and the drugs, I personally can't relate to. I'm not about that life, but I know about that life. I'm just not part of it. So I kind of wish they were a different setting, but I don't mind it. I'm not offended or that y'all should have did this. Y'all should have been more progressive because it's not that serious and it's not even offensive. So like it's fine. If it's Fire Island's the setting. I like the friendships and how it all came together. It was a nice film. But if you've seen it, let me know what you guys think of the film. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.